some days just feel perfect. I'm standing here at the Buttertube Spas in a beautiful weather next to Hyundai i20N. Can you think about something better? This road is quite narrow, quite tight, full of corners, so it feels like it's going to be perfect for this car, and I'm going to find out about it just in a moment, as I'm going to jump into this i20N and find out if this is the best hot hatch on the market when it comes to value for money. Yes, it might not be the fastest car, but do you need the fastest car on road like Buttertube Spas? No, you don't. What you need is something small, nimble and fun, and I believe this is the car. And the most important bit about this car is the price. The entry price was about 25k in UK, and I think it's a cracking car for that price. For someone who's young, for someone who's not on mega box, this is a perfect entry into the hot hatch world.
And what entry this is. Despite this being the smallest car in the N range, N division engineers definitely did not give this car any worse treatment. With the weight below 1200 kilograms and just over 200 horsepower, this car doesn't lack a punch. Styling, it's very sharp, and although I really like the front and the profile of the car, I kind of struggle a bit with the rear lights.
So, as we're about to lose the light, let's jump in the car and go for a drive. Right, so I'm in with Craig, the owner. You met Craig before. You might remember him from the Clio Cup video, and that's because this is his Hyundai. So thank you for letting me have a go in this car. I'm really looking forward to it because I've heard it's a cracking little car, and for this road it should be perfect.
Hopefully. See what you think of it.
The sitting position already feels very sporty. The seats are quite hard, I would say, but I think they're gonna be absolutely fine for the character of this car. I don't think that goes any.
Yeah, it doesn't go any further. So it does lead to a little bit of a compromise with the driving position. It's not a deal breaker, but you either have to make the choice between sitting close for the wheel or sitting a bit further away for the clutch. It depends what your priority is, really.
Okay, and how do I start this car?
Usual clutch down, and then hidden there in the most pointless hidden place there is the starter button.
Okay, and it comes to life.
So, as per usual with cars these days, you need to do a little bit of housekeeping. We're obviously going to go straight into the most sportiest mode. So you've got your N1 and N2 buttons here, just like the M car. So I've got the left hand one set up for sports mode, so you'll see how that'll change there. The exhaust valve opens. You're now in a slap ESC setting, M dynamic mode. This is a default one, and then you press it again and it goes to a custom one that I've set up.
Okay.
Which where the steering's not quite as heavy, controls for your rev match and all that sort of stuff. And then the other one, obviously, I've programmed to be like the full quiet cruise mode. So that puts a sock in the exhaust.
Yeah, that's fine. We're going to miss that mode today.
Yeah. So what I'll probably say is start off in the. So this is Hyundai's N mode. So this is like defaults to maximum everything. So heaviest steering, most aggressive throttle, most aggressive rev matching if you've got it on. Which is
it on?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right. The sound, it is not a very natural sound.
It's biting.
I would say it probably sounds like Ioniq 5M.
Yes, yeah.
When you push it, that's when it comes. Yeah, now. Well, I would say the car feels very stiff on the road. There is a nice weighting to the steering actually, which is good because you feel what the wheels are doing. It's very pointy, very darty. Ow, and crackles. It is really stiff, I would say.
Yeah, typical.
And this is standard suspension. This car isn't modified in any way.
Completely standard suspension, and being the i20N, it's passive as well, so it's not got adaptive damping. That wasn't a thing. A lot of people like to do what you've done, you know, fit maybe Bill Steins or something like that. But day-to-day driving, it's fine. I think it's exaggerated a little bit by the Buttertubs Pass, which isn't the smoothest stretch. But day to day it's fine, apart unless you come across a major. I termed it as passive aggressive damping rather than just passive. So it is firm, but it gets better the faster you go.
Wow, it feels fun, and that's what's most important. Because it's a little car, it won't break any records when it comes to the speed, but it's not what this car is about. It's about having fun on the road, and it feels very go-karty. Compared to my M2, this feels light, it feels nimble, it feels stiff, and yeah, it feels like it has all the grip you need. Wow, I mean, it feels so pointy. Yeah, so just let me revert back to the steering. Apart from just being weighted really nicely, it just feels like it's very, very dirty. The slightest movement makes correction of your direction, so it feels brilliant. I'm really surprised that a small car at this price tag can actually do that, because you would think it's going to be slightly wallowy, etc., but nothing like that. It's exactly opposite, to be honest. And I mean, obviously both of us weighed a bit in this car, but without us this car only weighs about 1190 kilograms, if I'm correct. And yeah, so that 204 horsepower generated by this 1.6 turbo engine, it's actually plenty. I've checked the power to weight ratio, and yes, it's down compared to my M2, but actually it's not down by that much, meaning that you can actually have a proper fun in it. Yeah, that it feels like it was made for this road. Maybe not as bumpy. I could do with slightly nicer surface, because as I mentioned, it's the suspension is pretty rough, but wow, it revs nicely. What's the red line? 6.5?
Yeah, 6.6. It's not that high.
But it gets there quite quickly. I think the gears are quite short actually, so it feels great. Feels like it's built to be fun. I know you daily this car.
Yes.
And how are you finding it in everyday situations?
Well, it's all relative in it when you're daily in a car. So previously, coming from the 182 Trophy that you might have seen the video of, that thing was fully polybushed, obviously not much refinement. So this, when I want it to be, when I go in the other N2 mode, it is perfectly refined and adequate for my needs. And day-to-day driving, the only jolts you really get is, you know, it's over the speed bumps or nasty potholes that let's be honest, they're everywhere in the UK. Here's some now.
Yeah.
What I really love about this car is the duality of it. Is when you want to be a hooligan, you push the button, the exhaust valve opens, you're full ASBO mode. If you're driving down the motorway, you've got the exhaust valve shut, you've got it in eco mode, you're doing 45 to the gallon, 50 to the gallon, and it's very refined, it's very quiet. So it's that Jekyll, it's like a cliche into with the Jekyll and Hyde, but it is that thing, and that's where hot hatches I think have really come on. You know, I've had loads of them over the years, but this is, it's almost, it's not that far off like maybe it's a sort of Golf GTI kind of car, but a little bit more fun, a little bit more compact, but it's still got the refinement when you need it. Maybe not quite in the ride quality, but then if the ride was softer, you wouldn't have that body control for that darty turning and cornering ability. I think it's very stable as well at the same time.
Another thing I picked up on is the gearbox. The gears feel very direct. Unlike in BMWs, for example, where they feel rubbery, it feels like they just slot in quite nicely. And to the point you made that you had quite a few of hot hatches. I met you when you had your Mini JCW Cooper Works. Then you had the Clio, you had
GR Yaris, yeah, Clio 182, Clio 200, the list goes on, honestly.
So that's why I have this guy in a car with me today, because he's the perfect person to actually tell you anything you want to know about hot hatches, because his experience in them it's amazing, because he had them all. And but to me, this feels so fun. And I've always been a fan of the bigger engines. Since I moved out from the 4-cylinder engines, I was always like, oh, I don't like 4 cylinders, it needs to have 6 cylinders or at least 5. But to be honest, I even don't mind a bit of that fake sound in it, because it's just, this car makes me smile.
Yeah,
and that's the main thing. I feel like I'm sitting in a go-kart. The suspension is quite hard. The steering feels very dirty. So everything which touches your senses tells you this is something fun. This is something you really want to drive hard and have fun in. And that's the most important bit. And coming back to that duality, you've got 5-door actually. The boot is reasonably big for this type of a car. You can fit in another 2 people at the back as well. So it can be even your family car if your kids aren't too big. Pram could be a stretch, but I don't know. For 25 grand lease deal, I can see why so many young people jumped into these cars, and even not young people who just don't want to spend mega bucks. People who just don't want to spend mega bucks on a car. This is proper fun. I always thought that this might not be a great car. When I first saw it, I wasn't blown away by its styling. And to be honest, if you would let me choose between i20N and i30N, I think I would go with the 30, and that's purely because I like bigger cars.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Yeah.
I think to me i30 it's more of a Golf size, and that's what I always liked. But if you would tell me, at the moment, I'll give you this for a day, go and have fun. Oh my God. You can have fun in it, honestly, especially when you're on roads like this. We are losing light now because we spent last 2 hours driving and filming here. But yes, what a perfect location for this car. Maybe if the road would be slightly little rougher, that would be even better. But other than that, this is just perfect. The car pops. I think it sounds really good for what it is, for 1.6. It sounds really good. It sounds good.
Doesn't pop on cue. Yeah, it's definitely synthetic, the noise, but then it's countered by the pops and bangs that do, they raise a cheeky little grin out of you, and that's the thing. So many cars, modern cars especially, are sanitised, whereas this still has that cheeky hot hatch character that eggs you on, that says, come on, let's have some fun, let's open the taps a little bit and enjoy this roundabout or this stretch of road. And I think that's important, especially as we're losing the hot hatch or we're going into the EV box now. I think it's good to still have that character. Obviously being turbocharged, it doesn't quite rev like the old ones do, and there's a bit of rev hang. It doesn't like to shed revs. If we're talking about critique, well, in terms of driving it, the absolute standout feature for me is the front differential. Once you wake that up and get driving it, and the way you can aggressively turn into a corner and open the throttle and it drags you around is seriously impressive.
Yeah, it's I think, let me try to pull it a bit in a second gear in the corner just to feel that diff. Oh, now it pops.
Yeah, I don't think these sequences are quite tight enough to get it working. Between where we were driving before, between Ribblehead and Hawes, sometimes those little sequences like that where you just get a couple of switchbacks together and there's a bit of a crest involved, and you know, you get it hooked up and it drags you around. It's incredible fun, honestly, it really is.
Well, now I'm
Just
starting.
keep it in.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'm starting to exploring it, and it feels great. Yeah, the gears are great. Now over the crest. Oh yes, yeah. You can feel the diff, definitely. Yeah, that's the thing. When you go over the crest, you're right. You're losing a bit of traction, and if you have an open diff, then that's when it shows. But yeah, definitely you can feel it. It catches both wheels, and they pull you. No, I think it's a great little car, and there isn't really much more to say. And this isn't a proper review of this car because you've seen a lot of them over the last 2 years. When this car was released, about 2 years ago.
3 years, maybe 4 years.
3 years.
Even. Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's been around for a while. They've actually just taken it out of production, believe it.
Yeah, and I think that's terrible. You know, they are moving away from those cars, and that's purely because of the regulations. So yes, it's great that I can still experience it, and the lucky people like Craig who managed to snap these cars will have some smiles on their faces for some time while they're on them, because yeah, it's cracking vehicle.
I'm really pleased with it, to be honest. For you know, if I was talking, if I had two cars, then obviously I'd have kept the old 182. You know, it's so much more raw. But as a compromise vehicle, you know, this is 1,000 times more comfortable, more refined, more reliable, and it gets to easily, you know, 80, 85, maybe even 90%. I'd probably say, really, in terms of hot hatch, it's probably closer to the old Megans than it is really a Clio or anything like that in terms of footprint, because like I've driven R26, 230, obviously the R26R, and the differential in this really reminds me of the differential in the R26Rs. Once you get it into, I guess I'm going to have to coin it the differential zone, that is when this car really shines. Yeah, that's the moment, and you can still have fun below that point, but when you get into that's when it like clicks and you go, the light bulb moment goes, and you're like, I really, you know, I can see what it's all about. Yeah.
Right, Craig, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I really enjoyed the drive. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you all enjoyed it. Please make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and you need to head on to Craig's magazine website, because Craig's got a brilliant magazine. It's an online magazine. We also had a printed version. I'm gonna leave a link in the description to the website, but you can also feed it here. What's the website, Craig? What's the magazine called?
All the W's, rushmagazine.co.uk, and we cover real world affordable drivers cars, everything from modern classics to probably like cap it at maybe a 911 GT3. So it's drivers cars, no hypercars, great stuff, news, performance. really passionate bunch of petrol heads writing for us, and it's everything online is completely free, no payroll. We've also got a print magazine that'd be well worth checking out, so thank you very much.
And I would say subscribe to the newsletter. It's not the spam you're gonna get every day. You're probably gonna get it once a week, and it literally gives you a nice highlight of what happened in the motoring world within that week. So I highly recommend that. I really like those updates every week. So once again, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Goodbye. Do widzenia.
And I'm interested, what do you think about this car? Would you get one? Let me know in the comment section.